clubhouse role model Marcus Simeon was, and I hear that Chris Taylor is also a very good person to have in the clubhouse as another
I hear
veteran
both.
presence.
Apparently, Bryant.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the 450 Dead Center channel. For the 5th time we're recording this video, but what's up, we're back.
Hello.
Yeah, there
Let's
was
not talk about the other 4 times.
the other 4 times when Daniel was frozen because his camera wasn't working properly, but now it's good, he's not freezing, so we're good.
All right, we're good. We're good.
You know what we're talking about today? Not Kevin Gossman. Kris Taylor and Kris Bryant, the double Chris's. I mean, good name if you ask me. So,
Yeah, the highly rumors that apparently they're going to go to the Jays. That's the link, apparently, Kris has been saying, so.
Sorry, drinking coffee, but there are a lot of rumors that, well, Kris Taylor, I believe, is the Jays' #1 right now, but then Kris Bryant's also another good third base utility player that we can also have, and I guess the Jays are really going for more versatility, and I feel like their like they said, Kris Taylor's #1, but I feel like I would also want Kris Taylor as the #1 instead of Kris Bryant, because if we get Kris Taylor, we can dish off some other players and go for J-Ram, and he can slot at third base. So I want to get your opinions on that.
I mean, before I give my opinion, Kris, everyone's got to definitely hit that subscribe button down below and like, because
Yeah, and
you got to beg for likes.
we both
Apparently
accidentally wore white jerseys today, so
It's okay, I got the holiday one on.
You got the old one on.
Yes.
Speaking of Roy Halladay, Kevin Gossman's going number 34 for him.
I know, I saw that, and that's why I'm wearing the jersey.
Nice, that's awesome.
Love
Well,
it.
Kevin
love
Gossman
it,
video will be out eventually.
Yes, coming soon. But sorry, what were we talking about?
Kris Taylor.
The deals. That's Kris Taylor and Bryant, right?
It's not. They're not like on the team yet, but
Yeah, the rumors.
Mhm.
Yes, I think definitely Kris Taylor's definitely my #1, just because one, I think he's gonna be way cheaper than Bryant,
100%, definitely.
and I think he does just as good as a job as Bryant almost.
He's certainly, I would say, more versatile. He can play literally every position, and then Bryant can play third base, I believe, all the outfields. So, I mean, still, I would like to have Bryant as well. But, I mean, if we have to choose one, it would certainly be Kris Taylor.
I mean, one thing I like about Taylor over Bryant is that Taylor's like not. I don't want to say more athletic because they can both play all the positions, bunch of positions, but Taylor's got like some speed to him, and that's something the Jays haven't had in a long time.
Like we got better about that, like with all our speed and everything last year. We had, like
we're
Simeon.
better, but we don't have like a kind of thing like a Trey Turner, who
I wish we had Trey Turner.
Like our best speed threat, I would say, is probably Bo.
Yeah, and last year, Kris Taylor had 13 stolen bases, so that's like not terrible. That's not good.
Terrible, but I'm pretty sure if you look at his extra base hits, there's a ton of doubles he's got.
He had 25 doubles, 20 home runs. So yeah, he's an extra base hit machine. I mean, last year was the best year of his career, so it could have just been a career season, obviously. But I think he could do that again next year.
And I mean, if we're talking about playoff impacts, right? Kris Taylor is a guy who makes an impact in the playoffs.
He's such a good player. He's really clutch too, and we have a lot of clutch players already on this team, like George Springer, and that's about it. But George Springer's like one of the best playoff performance guys of all time. We had Simeon.
I mean, we haven't seen anything from all the core guys because they got bounced in 2 games in Tampa the one year they made it. But I mean, Kris Taylor is a veteran guy. He could play all around the infield and all around the outfield. He is going to hit you 2020 for sure.
Oh yeah, or at least get close to 2020.
Yeah,
and the thing is, if we get somebody like that, like we don't need another power hitter on the team, like one of those guys who like strikes out, hits home runs. We don't need those guys. We need guys who get on base for the guys who do hit the home runs. And Kris Taylor is the perfect guy for that.
One thing I've noticed about the Jays' approach lately for their guys is they're a lot more high contact guys, and they feel like they're one of the. I feel like they're one of the only teams left that are not going after guys that are swinger or a home run kind of guys. So if you look at the Yankees, 3/4 of that team is either they're gonna hit a bomb or they're gonna K.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want Javier Baez on the team. Like there were rumors last night that
Yeah.
Javier Baez could go to the Jays, and I'm like, but why? We don't. I'm like, I know his defense is like Gold Glove level, but he's literally home run or strikeout. Like he's like Joey Gallo, except he doesn't walk. Like it's bad. Like and I don't
Like
want Javi
obviously
Baez.
strikeouts are a part of the game, right? But you can't do anything if nothing's gonna happen if you can't put the ball in play,
Mhm.
right? And I think someone like Chris Taylor, who obviously he's gonna strike out, but only 1/3 of his at bats are strikeouts, while the other two he's gonna put in play. You know?
Exactly. And that's why like players like Bo Bichette are so good because their like bat to ball skills are insane. That's why Boba's such a high batting average. Like his on base is not that good because he
Even
swings at everything. Vlad's just a different breed.
Teoscar, like
Yeah. And then there's
even as much as you hate him,
Randall. Are you gonna say Randall
even
Grichuk?
Randall Grichuk is not. Randall Grichuk just grounds in the double plays, but at
Like
least he puts the ball in
yeah,
play,
he's very good at hitting a hard ground ball to shortstop for a nice tailor-made double
right?
play, but at least he puts it in play, unlike Javier
I'd
Baez.
rather have that than a K because at least something could have happened. You know, maybe the shortstop overthrows second, or maybe the
Exactly,
shortstop
exactly.
bobbles it, right?
hmm That's
If
why
it's
you
a
want
K,
high
all the
contact,
catcher's got
low
to do is
whiff rate
catch it.
players. Low whiff rate,
Exactly,
high contact.
exactly.
And honestly, I know Cabin, he doesn't have the best bat to ball skills, but like at least he's got like a good eye too. Like there's some players who just swing at everything and miss. But
And I think that's one thing Taylor has is his eye is pretty good.
let me whip up the
His
stats
bat to
again from
ball
last year.
skills are decently well.
Yeah, he had a 344 on base last year with a 254 batting average, so pretty much 100, well 90 points higher, which isn't that
Yeah.
bad. He had what was his OPS? 782, which wasn't terrible.
You also got to remember
So,
this is him not playing every day because he was
good point. He was in the Dodgers
in
lineup.
the Dodgers, right?
He
So he's platooning
played
quite a
well,
lot.
he played 148 games, but he probably played
Oh,
like
he got
one inning.
148.
Well,
Damn.
like it counts if you play like one inning in a game, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. hmm
But still, let's say he played 100 games.
Yeah. Well, where do you think
So
he would play though? Because we don't really have an
this,
open spot unless we make a trade for somebody like J-Ram, and then you throw him in the outfield maybe. But
well, I have two possibilities. One you're gonna hate,
yeah, I know. Second base.
second base, and then possibly they use Cavan for a trade.
I feel like his name's gonna be out there all off season, all
Oh,
next
I
season.
think it will. And then the other thing they could do is just I don't know if can maybe just put Chris Taylor at third base. Maybe he's nasty at third base.
I've never seen him play there. I know we played second base for the Dodgers, but then when they got Trey Turner and Corey
Yeah.
Seager were together, like I don't really know where he played. Probably just platoon role, probably. But
He platooned and he played
yeah,
the outfield. Like
he platooned.
I
Yeah,
mean, if anything, you put him in the outfield and you trade Randall Grichuk.
I'm done, solid. But then we also Springer, Gurriel, Teoscar out there, and Cavan can play the outfield. Chris Taylor can play the outfield, and then there's
That's
another guy who is also on the market right now. It's Kris Bryant. We'll get to him a little bit later. But
I mean,
yeah.
last couple notes on Chris Taylor here.
hmm
His versatility, I think, allows him to play almost anywhere, and if he's hitting well enough, then Charlie Montoya is gonna have to put him in the lineup.
Well,
You
that's
know
what
what
he
I mean?
did. He did that this year with Grichuk in the beginning of the season. Like Grichuk wasn't supposed to be the starting outfielder, but then we obviously had the Springer injury, and Grichuk was kind of carrying the team for some reason. But then he cooled down, and you saw him get less and less playing time throughout the season
Yeah.
as Gurriel kind of started to heat up. So I feel like it could be something like that.
And yeah, also, and Taylor's used to, and if worse comes to worse, Taylor's used to platooning. So you
Exactly.
platoon him with Cavan. Maybe
Oh,
he plays against lefties and Cavan plays against righties.
yeah, no, that could work as well. And then maybe if we don't pick up a third baseman, you can maybe platoon Cavan and Santi at third base, maybe
At
Taylor
third or
there,
something.
like a three-man
Yeah, like
platoon.
there's so
Exactly.
many possibilities, and the one thing I like about Taylor over Bryant, as we segue into Bryant here, is that Taylor can give you multiple infield positions and multiple outfield positions. Bryant can just give you third, which is obviously what we need,
hmm
and like the corner outfields.
Yeah, and there's one more very big factor that we didn't even talk about, and that's how much each player will cost.
Yes, I mean,
And Chris Taylor probably looking maybe the $60 million range, depending on how many years we give him. And then Bryant's probably going to be over 100 million.
I feel like Taylor's gonna get 22 million a year, however year. So probably I don't know. He might be somewhere between 80 and 100. if you go 5 years.
It depends how long you give him a contract for, pretty
Yeah.
much. But I would say
I
maybe
think 22 million a year is probably his going.
I was gonna say like 16 a year, but we'll
I
see.
think 16.
Yeah, because I was thinking Kris Bryant's probably like 22 a year.
Okay, that's fair. You know
And then
what?
yeah, let's
16.
transition to Kris Bryant here because he's also in the rumors and he would fit the perfect hole for the Blue Jays right now. But it's weird how we want Chris Taylor more than Kris Bryant.
It's if they get Bryant for a good deal, I will happily take Bryant. It's just the money that Bryant's gonna cost is very, very scary.
Yeah, I believe he's what, 28 or 29 years old as well, so he'll be looking for a big boy contract.
Yeah, and like I love Bryant. Don't get me wrong, I love Bryant. Loved him ever since he was on the Cubs. But you got to think about the future. They still got Guerrero to extend. They got Bo to resend eventually. They got Teoscar to resign.
Yeah.
Cavan, right?
Bo Bichette.
Bo Bichette. Eventually, longer down the line, you'll have Manoah to resign. Like, there's a lot. Romano. There's a lot of guys you have to resign.
And Kris Bryant is 29 years old, so he'll probably be looking for a 6-7 year contract deal.
5, 6, 7, something
upwards
like that,
probably
right?
to like $150 million. It's just how the market's been going so far. Like we saw Corey Seager get 325 million. So
yeah, and Semyon got 115 or something. No, what did
he
Semyon
got
get?
175.
5, so he'll probably get either a little bit. He'll probably get like 150. I would say Bryant then.
Exactly. I feel like you get like 7 years, 150. I mean that would be a good contract for any team that gets him. Because what's the average on that? Let me do the math real quick. 150 divided by 7 is 21.4. So yeah, like $22 million a season.
Yeah, like that's not bad. It's just if the Jays already locked up Guerrero and Bichette, I would say go for it.
But we haven't.
They haven't locked up Guerrero.
We locked up Barrios and Gosman. Yeah.
And I don't mind having Brian on the team. It's just I'd rather have Teoscar, Vladdy, and Bo.
And the thing is, I'd rather have another third baseman on Cleveland than what's his name, Kris Bryant on the team. And I feel like we can also sign Chris Taylor, make a trade for J-Ram, and still probably have less money in the payroll and to give to Vlad and Bo for an extension.
That J-Ram rumors that are going around, you can definitely see it happening just because both the general managers of Toronto were originally Cleveland.
Did they draft him? Oh, I know they drafted Lindor. I don't know if they drafted Jose Ramirez.
I don't know if they drafted J-Ram, but half of that team was brought up by them, like Shane Bieber.
I want him.
Is it Tristan McKenzie or Tyler McKenzie?
Tristan McKenzie.
Trevor
Bauer?
They probably not Bauer. But like I'm trying to think of the other guy what's the other guy? Krichik? James Karinchak?
Oh, the closer, yeah.
The closer. Those are all guys that Atkins and Shapiro drafted, so they have ties to them.
And we all know how good Atkins and Shapiro are, and a lot of people want to work with them, and Pete Walker, obviously. But like, I just see Chris Taylor as a better fit than Kris Bryant on the Jays. But I would not be sad if we did sign Kris Bryant because he is a phenomenal player, and if he gets out of like a team, if he gets out of like a batter not friendly ballpark like San Francisco, and the Cubs kind of suck last year. If he gets into the Blue Jays lineup, you can see a lot from this guy.
One thing I wish both of these guys were, I wish they were a lefty.
You know who is a switch hitter?
So many. I know
J-Ram's a switch hitter. Yeah.
But we have so many righties that I don't know. They're probably have so many analytics to look at between these two, and obviously they're trying to sign one of them, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm so excited for the ride, so I'm ready to go with it.
No matter what happens, I feel like it's going to be a win for the Jays, unless we don't sign anybody else. But even though we still signed Gosman and Barrios to a big boy extension, so like it's really we've already won in this offseason anyway. The team got better, so
I know everyone's worried about Semyon leaving, but you got to remember, Catherine sucked ass last year, and he has the potential to be an everyday player. And when you're sitting on the bench playing 1 hour every 3 games, you can't play and get into a rhythm.
And don't forget, half the season or probably more than half the games he was in, he was hurt anyway with like a pinky broken or something, and he had a neck strain.
And everyone's worried about who's gonna fill his whatever. I don't know. Santiago Espinal looks pretty good last year too. So
yeah, I mean, he's not going to hit you 45 home runs, but
right?
people really forget.
Good season.
People forget in 2019 in Cavan's rookie year, he had an 113 OPS plus, so he was 13% better than average. And in 2020, he had a 122 OPS plus. Like 20% better than the average player is really good. And you saw it at the end of the season too. Cavan went like 4 for 4 in one game. He went like 3 for 5 in another game. Like once he's healthy, he could be good.
I think obviously there's no way you're gonna replace. No way at all you can replace the power Simeon brought. You can't think like that to replace Simeon, because the only way you'll do that is you're gonna have to get someone like Carlos Correa and then
or Jose Ramirez, but he's a different position.
He's a different thing, right? You're gonna have to get someone like Carlos Correa, move him second, and pay $400 million or whatever. But
that's nuts. If Seager got 300, Carlos Correa is looking to get 400.
Oh, I heard he might even get 5 actually.
That is not. Which
is ridiculous. But
God,
like you just got to think, you can't replace the power. You got to replace the defense, which is possible. And at the end of the day, he hit power. He's getting on base, right? So you need someone to get on base.
And don't forget about how good of a clubhouse role model Marcus Semien was. And I hear that Chris Taylor is also a very good person to have in the clubhouse as another like veteran presence. I hear both of them are.
Apparently Bryant was like the life of the party in San Francisco.
Okay, that's good too. That's
Chicago
good too. And love to see it.
So I think one of these guys are definitely coming to Toronto. I just don't know which one it is.
We don't know which one. We hope it's Chris Taylor. We also hope it's Jose Ramirez. And we also hope it's Kris Bryant. We can't have all three, but it would be nice. I think it's a good spot to wrap up this podcast.
Just wrap it up at this point. I have no idea what else to say.
We're just rambling. If you did enjoy, hit that like button and subscribe to our podcast channel where we post somewhat inconsistently. But with that being said, everybody, hope you all enjoyed and have a good one.